Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lesmeries joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Friday edition of the program. Both the boys with you for the next three. Bake is here. Dylan is here as well. Pretty loaded up for you. What we learned this week coming at 11 o'clock. Doug and Tim, as is customary. Doug 11:30, Tim at 10:30. We've got a new playoff format coming in college football, because if the Big Ten and the SEC say so, then by God, we're going to have one. We're going to get into kind of this latest incarnation that they are proposing or talking about at the moment. We'll get into that coming up at 10 o'clock. I did want to start. I thought Bob and Beam did a hell of a job there. Great having Schlegs and, of course, Sharkey as well. That's great with that. I've had to do that several times through the years. Did it with AR back in 2015. Did it with Threes. After doing the show with him for a lot of years. And one of the things, it's when you know that the end is coming and you're trying to do that last segment or so in the last few minutes, you want to make sure that you represent yourself in the show and everything that it's been in a very, very good way. And I thought they did. I thought it was really cool having all those guys on. And it's tough. It's a tough spot. I said this to James when he and I finished the show. I talked to him more than I did my wife for 5 years. I mean, that was just the truth. Like 3 hours a day, it was he and I for all of that time. And so there is a rhythm and a familiarity to it, and there's a togetherness that comes with it as too, because you really truly are part of a team. So obviously they'll both be here around, but in terms of the two of them together, and it was cool having Schlegs obviously in the mix as well. And Sharkey is done on July 1st. He's an institution. I think I've told you this. When I was on with him on Tuesday, the very first time I was ever on radio in town was filling in for Shark with Jeff Logan on his old afternoon show. And this would have been like 07, like fall of 07. It was the very first radio that I did was filling in for Shark. Jeff Logan.
So growing up in Columbus and Shark being around for so long, I remember listening at his former employer to the Saturday morning sports blitz with Mark the Shark and listening to him years. And then I was co-workers with Shark at that place for, I think, 5 years. And I believe 2 or 3 years in a row. I always know when Shark's vacation is, because it was the same time I would take vacation in the summer, and I couldn't go for 2 or 3 years because I had to fill in for him. But I never met him, Bo, until we started working here together. I would literally fill in for him, doing his job on the other station, but he had a different schedule, and I was never there when he was. Yeah. So literally, I did not meet him until I started working here at the Fan with him.
Yeah, I have the same experience. Yeah, I filled in for. That's funny. I had no idea that you and I had that connective tissue. Yeah, I had the exact same thing. I filled in for him on his old show, and then never met him until he started here. But yeah, those guys were awesome. Bob, some of the first radio I did here at the Fan was with Bob. The off season with Bobby Carpenter was the show. I think I remember he and I go to the old Eddie George Grill for lunch and kind of mapping out the show. It was 1 hour. Okay. We were doing 1 hour. We were doing from, I want to say, noon to 1, I think is what we were doing. We were only doing it on Fridays. Bob and I had done TV together when on a couple of shows that I created back in 07. And he was kind of a regular on those and kind of hit it off. And I do remember meeting at Eddie George Grill when the Grandview Yard was like one hotel. And and we met over there at Eddie George, and we mapped it out. Bake, I had, in a 4-segment show, I had 76 ideas. I mean, we were
you were messing around.
We had a lot going on. I had a lot going on for a 4-segment show, but we did that for a while and had a ball. So look, it's hard when you say goodbye like that, but I thought they did it with a lot of dignity and class. It's a good job out of them, and the new lineup will start on Monday. And as I mentioned, both those guys are going to be around. So Bob with the streaming show and Beam on Buckeye Show. So you're going to hear them, just necessarily won't be together. But that's a tough spot. I thought they handled it well. We're going to get into this at great length in terms of what is being proposed on the college football playoff side of things. And those in charge are going to decide. I guess they've won, right? What's the line? Those who win the wars write the history. The Big Ten and the SEC have won the wars. We're past the battle stage. They've won the wars. So they're going to not only write the history, but they're going to dictate the future is what they're going to do. And they're going to tell us what this thing is going to look like going forward in college athletics. I think that we are at a point, though, a very critical juncture of the sport. And it's interesting. I saw Bill Connolly, who we've had on a lot of ESPN. He actually is writing a book. He actually tweeted out the image of it, your guide to the future of college football. College football is at a stage right now where it is abundantly clear to those of us who love it and those of us who talk about it on a regular basis that there needs to be some form of centralized leadership, and it needs to be now. The Big Ten and the SEC are going to pick that leader, fine. It is time for there to be a unified voice in the future of the sport, because when you start thinking about what's going on right now, and just do yourself a checklist and say, here are things that need to get fixed. I mean, where's that checklist stop? The one thing that we have is an incredible product that the people who consume it are absurdly passionate about. We have the second most popular sport in this country by a wide margin. It's probably, along with women's basketball, one of about two that are continuing to ascend in terms of ratings and interest and all of those things. Everybody who said NIL would ruin it and that I wouldn't watch, they all lied. Everybody still watched. Nobody cared about it. It didn't affect it at all. But there does need to be some guidance in terms of what this looks like going forward. And I do think it needs to be uniformed guidance. And I think it needs to be now, because decisions are being made on what this looks like. Guys, some of this stuff that's being proposed, the 16-team playoff that's coming, the things that are being proposed from a calendar standpoint make no sense. You go ask a coach, hey, we're going to do this, makes no sense. Go ask a coach, hey, this is how we're going to decide to fund and pay players. Makes no sense. Hey, coach, this is the calendar. Makes no sense. There are people making decisions on the future of this sport who don't have the first damn clue on what it's like to do it day to day. And it's getting worse and worse. And I do think that we are at a point where there needs to be some guidance. And if the SEC and the Big Ten, if Sankey and Petitti need to get together and pick a guy or gal to lead it, great. But there needs to be uniformity, and it has to happen now. This thing is starting to get really wobbly, and it's really loose. And decisions are being made, it feels like haphazardly, without a whole lot of thought to like actually putting them into practice and what this looks like. Not in 6 months even, but this probably won't start till 2026. Some of this stuff. I mean, you got a hearing that you're going to get a House case that's going to get some sort of resolution in the next month. What does that look like? Just do that. In fact, we'll do that in the next segment. Just think of the checklist of things that are of importance, of things that have to get checked off of that list, so that this sport can remain as beloved as it is and not go off the rails. And by the way, if you participate in this sport, if you're a coach in this sport, if you're a player in this sport, your life should not just be chaos. Every day you wake up in the morning, it shouldn't be chaos. I mean, I don't care how much money you get paid as a head coach, assistant coach, general manager, strength coach. The money's nice, and that's what the money's for. I get it. But you shouldn't be signing up for just chaos every day. And right now, that's what the sport is. On a daily basis, complete and utter chaos. There needs to be some centralized leadership, Vic.
There does. And, I mean, there's needed to be for a while, even though we've supposedly had it with the NCAA. They've just been, as we've said on this show, kicking cans down the road for a long time. And letting the next guy deal with it. Well, you're at a point now where the next guy can't deal with it because it's here and it's happening, and they've got to figure something out. And I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if you get former coaches, former players who are really smart. I don't know exactly what the answer is, but man, there's got to be something because this is a big-time money business now, and there are big-time money decisions that need to be made.
There's one other thing that has to happen to this sport, and it's I think this is critical, and I think something happened yesterday that kind of maybe gives you a little window into what college football, especially the SEC, is thinking going forward. And I do think what they are potentially trying to do could be a bit of a mistake if they go about it the way they're going about it. And that has to do with the National Football League, and it has to do with scheduling. We will get into that. As I mentioned, Tim coming up at 10:30, Doug at 11:30, the new college football playoff that's being floated. How will it affect your winter? Here's a hint, a lot. What we learned this week as well. We're off and running on a Friday edition, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Come into your local AAA Car Care Plus and get a $39.99 full synthetic oil change plus a free tire rotation. Only at AAA Car Care Plus locations. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Restrictions apply. Offer ends May 31st. See store for details.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Get Eco.
Aaron, which brand of air conditioner is the most energy efficient?
It's the one that's had its outside coils cleaned correctly.
Well, I can wash those off with a garden hose, right?
No.
Why not?
Humidity mixes with dust and pollen to create a micro-thin film of sticky paste that gets baked onto those hot outside coils.
And that baked-on stuff keeps my coils from releasing their heat into the atmosphere.
Which means your system has to run longer, which uses a lot more energy and it shortens the life of your air conditioner.
Get Eco.
How do we get that baked-on stuff off?
Remove the exterior shroud, then spray the coils from the inside out with a special eco-friendly solvent.
Can I rinse the solvent off with a garden hose?
Yeah, but only from the inside out.
Or I could just pay Eco to do it.
Get Eco.
Eco doesn't take shortcuts. We do it the right way every time.
Get Eco professional coil cleaning for just $468.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And bet and reduce juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy on it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens at your latest forecast. Maybe a light jacket in the afternoon. Plenty of sunshine with temperatures that only reach a high in the 60s today. We'll warm up to the 70s with sunshine for Saturday and upper 70s with more sunshine for your Mother's Day. Rain chance to stay away until next week. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants.
The pervert and the skivvies.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
And starting Monday, next Monday, like 4 days. New Juice, Bob and Tito, 6 to 8 a.m. The Fan's YouTube channel, The Fan 3 on HD Radio and the Fan app. Download the Fan app today. Then 10 to noon, watch on 10 TV Plus, free streaming app available on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. You can download that today. Here is the new weekday lineup here on the Fan. This starts on Monday. T-Bone and Tyvis, 6 to 9, then 9 to noon. We stay the same, noon to 3. Rotham Nice stays the same, 3 to 6. Common Man and Timmy, and then 6 to 8, the Buckeye Show with Brandon Beam. Beam was the first producer with Threes and I. He wasn't in that long. I mean, he went to the Buckeye Show with Timmy pretty quickly, but was at the very, very beginning. And the first time I met Beam was at Muirfield. I was with Dom, and we would do our live shots out by the practice green, and he would supply us with balls. We'd play this game like closest to the pin. We were doing live shots for Channel 10. We would throw balls at the practice green and see who could get closest, and Beam would supply us with balls. So yeah, we go way back.
That was you had Beam, and then you had Matty Ice. Is that correct?
No. So that goes back to AR and I.
Okay.
So it was AR and I. The first was Bieber was our first one. He was our first producer when I was on with Roth, and then with AR, and then Matty Ice.
Mm-hmm.
With AR.
Okay.
So that was that. Yeah, and then Beam, and then Chopper. And then Chopper and Reese, and now Yumi and Reese. That's where that stands.
Some things change, some things stay the same.
Yeah, some of it does. Yeah. All right, so we have, this is what I was referring to from the Southeastern Conference. The SEC is going to put the Egg Bowl back on Black Friday. So this is traditionally where the Egg Bowl is played. In recent years, they've moved it to Thanksgiving night, and as an effort to stay away from, quite honestly, to stay away from the NFL, because the NFL gobbled up Black Friday. And this was also traditionally, Black Friday was the Arkansas LSU game, was a Black Friday game back in the day. Another game that they're going to move back into Black Friday is Texas and Texas A&M. So that's going to go back into Black Friday. I think probably I know what's happening here. These are SEC properties, obviously, with the Egg Bowl, Texas A&M, Texas, and LSU, Arkansas. And if you are the SEC and your partner is ESPN, ABC, and while they will not outrate the National Football League, they won't. What else is ESPN, ABC going to put on Black Friday that's going to do better? The answer to that's nothing. So even if it doesn't outrate the NFL, it will rate in a big way in comparison to anything else that they would throw at the table in terms from a rating standpoint. So I actually like this. I don't think you can be fearful of the NFL forever. I think you also have to acknowledge the behemoth that is the NFL. And I was thinking about this in regard to a checklist. This comes back to this uniformity that is needed at the top of the sport, and it really needs to happen in the next 6 months. I'd like to have it happen by Monday, but nothing's going to happen. It's glacial pace. Just think of this. I think the number one thing that has to get fixed right away in college football is the schedule. The calendar. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to play a 12-game regular season, have a couple of weeks off, and then begin a playoff in the middle of December and then taking it all the way to the end of January and going head-to-head with the NFL for the entire month of January. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to play games the way that they're going to have to do it to avoid the NFL on Thursday night, Friday night, Monday night, all of this stuff. College football could easily be wrapped up by this second Monday in January. We've gone over it a million times. It's very easy to do. The calendar is broken. To ask college football coaches, staffs to prepare for playoffs while also having a national signing day window and a portal window at the same time, it has not affected us too much yet in terms of the portal. But the only reason I say yet is because of what could have happened to Penn State when Bo Prabula decided that he was going to transfer out. Their backup quarterback left. And it wasn't like he was some backup quarterback that didn't play. I mean, they had packages for him. And he left because he had to go get to his new school. In the meantime, they're trying to make a run at the College Football National Championship through a playoff. There's going to be more of that. So a simple way to fix that is to just move the calendar back. And would it be back or up? I guess depending on what way. In my head, I think of moving it back because I think physically on a calendar, but it would probably be moving it up.
Yeah, you're going to start the season early.
I want to start it earlier. I want to start the season. High school football starts, I think this year is August 18th. I want college football starting week 0. I want it starting 1 week after high school football. I want it starting week 0 before. I want week 1 to be week 0. And I think if you do that, you get the Ohio State-Michigan game now becomes the Saturday before Thanksgiving. You play the conference championship games if you have to have them. We'll have more on that at 11 or at 10 rather. If you have to have them, you play those on Thanksgiving Saturday. That would be my, and then you have the next weekend is off. You award the Heisman, you play Army-Navy, and then the next weekend you start the playoff. And away you go.
It's interesting you mentioned high school football because high school football has continued to move their start date up as they expand playoffs. Like playoff expanded in the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
And they have moved them back before because I believe the playoffs used to be, the state championships used to be the weekend after Thanksgiving. They might be a little later now, but as they've expanded, they've moved up. As college football's expanded, they've moved back.
Correct. Yeah. So when's the state championship crown now in high school football? What weekend is that?
It's usually the first full weekend in December.
Okay. So I remember, yeah, because so that's where since I've been in town, I'm pretty sure that's when it's been. Because I remember being at Big Ten championship games, like the day that Burrow played in the state championship, I was covering the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, I'm always working Big Ten championship Saturday usually.
Yeah. So that's kind of the spot on that. So I think that's the first thing that you need universal leadership on is calendar. The calendar is broken. I do think it's pretty simple to fix. I don't think it's that big of a deal to just move it ahead a week and try to get this thing done. There's still plenty of weeks in there to get this entire playoff done. By if you insist on playing on a Monday, I wouldn't. I'd play Saturday night. I would play a Saturday night national championship game. I do the second Saturday in January, crown it that day. That still gives you time to do the semifinals around the bowls, and the rest of the playoffs leading into it. So the schedule, the calendar, that's got to get fixed. The next one is the most complicated because it's the money. The money's brutal. The money's it's really tough. Here's kind of this is the reality of college athletics going forward. This is something we're all going to have to kind of wrap our heads around. Athletic departments are going to keep the sports they want. And you say, well, yeah, Bo. No, I'm serious. Like, they've kept a lot, and this is a great example of it here. They've kept a lot of sports here that don't make any sense. And if you compare the athletic department size at a place like Ohio State to their peers in college football, like Texas and Alabama and Georgia, it's almost 2-to-1 the amount of sports. And in the SEC, they made decisions that these are the sports we're going to care about. And that sucks. But if Ohio State is going to have a revenue share that's equal to that of the schools in the South and the schools in the SEC when it comes to football, some sports are going to have to go. And that's a decision Ross Bjork and the board's going to have to make, the president, Top Gun Ted. They're going to have to decide, what are the sports that matter to us? They have to have those decisions because you can't do it at this rate and have football players make less here than they're making other places.
And Bo, I will always use the example that I use for Ohio State sports, and it's because I know this because I worked some of these games in the past. But Ohio State men's volleyball brings in no money. There's no tickets. Yeah. There's no parking, any of that. And men's volleyball might travel as much or any sport that Ohio State has because they've got to fly to UCLA all the time. They've got to fly to Long Beach State all the time. A lot of the teams they play, because not everybody has men's volleyball, are out on the West Coast. So there's a lot of travel in that. What's fitting the bill for that? Well, it's always been football has done that because football brings in all the money and gives them the extra money to fund all these sports. How does a sport like men's volleyball last in this climate? I don't know.
Well, the quick answer is it won't.
It doesn't.
So here are this is the entire list of men's sports at Texas. This is the entire list. Football, basketball, baseball, and my hunch is all three of those are revenue generators at Texas. Knowing how they're the number one baseball team in the country.
Yeah.
Those are revenue, they're all sorts of national championships. Golf, swimming and diving, tennis, track and field. 7 sports. 7. They have 10 women's sports. So a total of 17 intercollegiate sports at Texas. Okay? This isn't Auburn. I mean, it's Texas.
And it's double that at Ohio State.
Yeah, right. So those are decisions. And Ross knows that that's coming. But that's another thing that's got to get fixed is they got to decide how this money is going to be divvied out and what sports are the ones that we care about. And it'll just be simply these are the ones that matter to us. That's what it's going to have to be because there's a lot of loss leaders on campus that got to get sorted out. So that's part of it. The playoff. We're going to talk about this at great length coming up at 11 o'clock because there is a proposal on the table for what the college football playoff will look like by 2026, and it is dramatically different. So we'll get into that at great length. The last thing that has got to get fixed, and this ties into calendar, is the portal National Signing Day stuff in football. It is a mess right now. You cannot – I understand that people look at what these guys make, the coaches make, and they say, well, that's it. I remember talking to Ryan last year when he joined us. It was probably in the fall, and I asked him, well, how many true days off did you get? And he said about 5. About 5 true days off. That is not sustainable. That's not sustainable. And he's the head coach. When he flies private. The rest of these guys are flying commercial all over the country, nonstop, all year. It's not sustainable. It isn't. It's not sustainable to try and coach kids who can leave anytime they feel the least bit of discomfort. It's not sustainable to try to signing classes in the middle of trying to win a national championship. We've talked many times. All you have to do, some of this stuff, folks, it's so frustrating because just common sense. Put a signing day in the summer so that it's over in July. Have the second one be in February as it has been in the past and go from there. The idea that you put a signing day in the middle of December is absolute lunacy.
Or
it's
just
lunacy.
have one. Go back to just one.
Well, the problem is they want kids early enrollee, which that's a whole other soapbox for me because I don't like it. I think kids should go to their prom and enjoy their senior year, but kids want a head start. So that's the only reason they have the early one is for the early enrollee stuff. So look, there's a lot of layers to this thing, and we're going to get into the playoff layer of it, but it's all coming to a head right now. It's all happening right now. And right now is the time for action. It's time for there to be true centralized leadership in the sport. I'm not optimistic it'll happen, but I think now is the time. And hopefully Petiti and Sankey, they're really competent. Hopefully they can get together. They can get on the same page with Goodell, try to come up with a calendar that makes sense for everybody. Speaking of the National Football League, a big day up in Berea. The Browns rookie mini camp begins. This is going to be a hell of a scene up there. I'll tell you exactly what to expect in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Hey, Chris Candy here. My mom goes out of her way to make me happy, so this year I'm returning the favor with a bouquet from the Books Company. Their flowers are cut fresh from the best farms, so they grow bigger, brighter, and last way longer. It's easy. Pick your bouquet, delivery date, and done. Mother's Day is May 11th, so order your Books now. Go to Books.com. Use promo code CANTY for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, promo code CANTY. Books, promo code CANTY.
All power, zero compromise. Ego cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
Spring showers revealing roofing or siding issues? Trust the pros at Newman Roofing for expert care, white glove service, and quality you can count on. Schedule your estimate today and take advantage of special financing options. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
Another reason to choose Hinderer Motor Company for your next vehicle. This is Justin Hinderer. Every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty, award-winning service, and our exclusive Carvenience. We pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it so you save time and enjoy peace of mind. That's Carvenience. At Hinderer Motor Company, we take care of everything so you can drive worry-free. See why we're the best choice for your next new or used car by visiting HindererMotorCompany.com.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you? On a Friday edition of the program, rookie minicamp opening up in Berea today. Yesterday was uniform fitting. Their social channels did a good job of kind of going through all of that. Wouldn't that be cool? I always thought that would be a really good thing to auction off for charity. I think the Buckeyes could do it really, really easily. So I'm sure it's a similar thing at Ohio State when you're a player. But I know they have this for the Browns, and again, I'm sure it's for the Buckeyes, although their numbers are a little bit bigger, so maybe it's a little different. But if you were to auction off, you get to go to the Woody, and you get to get fitted for gear. So, like, they do the scans of your feet. They do so that the shoe fits perfectly, and to get fitted for, like, all of the gear. Like, obviously, you wouldn't need the helmet and the pads and all of that. But if you could, like, get just the full gear and then, like, go to a practice, that to me, that would be a pretty cool charity. That'd be a pretty cool thing to do for charity.
I was thinking about that yesterday a little bit, like what that experience would be like. Like, they got the video of Quinshon, and he's got the special socks on and everything. Yeah. And, it'd be a pretty interesting. I think it'd be interesting just to be there and see it all.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, like, the reason those socks allow for they do a foot scan of your foot so that the cleat fits perfectly. Same thing with the helmets. They do it so it fits perfectly. Everything's scanned. So it's a really cool thing to be able to do. I think it'd be really kind of a no-brainer, easy. There might be something they could do for NIL around here, like pay, like auction that off, 5 people, and you go to get fitted for gear at the Woody. That'd be a pretty cool thing. In terms of on the field, this is something in all the years that I've been doing stuff with the Browns, which goes back to 2018. I've never seen what we're going to see today, and that is huge numbers at rookie minicamp. I'm talking upwards of 50 rookies at rookie minicamp. And you say, well, why? Why are they having 50 guys up there, 45, 50 guys up there? What is the point of all of this? Well, folks, the quarterback competition up there starts today. It starts today. They have 4 quarterbacks, 4 of them. One of them has to start. They are a complete open book on who that could be. There is absolutely nothing that is, from an obligation standpoint, for Kevin Stefanski to play any of them. It's a 3rd-round pick, a 5th-round pick, a guy who was traded for a 5th-round pick, and a free agent. That's the list. They can do whatever they want with him. Stefanski can start whoever he wants. And so what you're going to see, and this is why this is going to be so fascinating up there today, you're going to see the competition between Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel starts today. It's on. And so they're going to do 7-on-7. They're going to put these guys in situations, and whichever one of those guys can make the bigger impression is going to have a leg up by the time you get to continue with the offseason program, by the time you get to minicamp, and absolutely when you come to training camp. Because here's the deal. My hunch is what they will try to do in training camp is almost run 2 fields at the same time so that everybody gets enough reps. But this isn't a college football practice in the old days, Bear Bryant, Woody Hayes, where you could practice for 4 hours. It's not like that. It's short. It's an hour and 15 minutes, and they're out. There's not enough time to get reps in. So every rep is going to count. My hunch is they'll do 2 fields by the time you get to training camp. But every single rep for these guys is going to matter, and anyone can win it. I truly mean that. There is not a single obligation from Kevin Stefanski's perspective in terms of, I've got to play this guy. He doesn't have to play anybody. He can play the guy he wants the most. Now, you could say, well, they traded for Kenny Pickett. Yep. So there's some traits they like with Kenny Pickett, and I think he is the leader going into the clubhouse. There is an incredible emotional tie to Joe Flacco, but also the acknowledgement that this is a 40-year-old man, and there isn't really a future for Joe Flacco in Cleveland beyond a year, maybe two at most. I don't think anybody thought he'd be back this time, but indeed he is. In terms of the two rookies, obviously they were both on the board when they picked Dillon Gabriel. So they like Gabriel more than Shedeur in the process. That does not mean that Shedeur cannot make all of that up over the course of minicamp and over the course of training camp. He absolutely can. They really like Shedeur Sanders' traits. They like him as a prospect. But there's a reason he fell to the 5th round. But he's there now, and that competition starts today. I'll be honest with you. In all of the time I've been around NFL camps, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen a 4-headed quarterback race. Pickett and Flacco are already up there as well. So you're going to have really 4 of them in the building kind of starting yesterday for the next month until mandatory minicamp, and the race is on.
It's so interesting here you talk about the 2 different fields, and you've heard that with Ohio State the past couple years, like they're running all these different fields to try to get these quarterbacks all as much reps as they can. And we just heard Ryan Day talk about it in his wrap up the spring press conference, when you can truly only get so many reps playing actual football at the quarterback position. So you've got to try to do everything you can to get those. And these are so important, kind of like we talked about yesterday to me with Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel. And as you've talked about, it sounds like the Browns really liked Dillon Gabriel. He was their number 2 quarterback on the board after Cam Ward. Is getting these guys reps, seeing if there's something there that you really like, that you think, hey, we might have something with these guys, because then you kind of have an idea going into real training camp coming up. And as we talked about, if injuries happen, then you're in a catbird seat with 4 guys, and 4 guys, well, if you think these rookies can play, then you have 2 older veterans that we know have NFL starting experience, and we can say what we want about Kenny Pickett, but he does have a 15-10 record as a starter. So if a good team loses a quarterback, the Browns have 2 options to say, hey, they can turn these guys into assets or other pieces moving forward.
What is the, from your perspective, grew up a Browns fan, what is your home run scenario over the next month?
I would think, to me, the home run scenario is Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur show you enough that, hey, there is at least something here that one of them can really push hard for this starting job and maybe even get it. So, to me, I don't think the Browns are competing for a Super Bowl this year. I don't think that's breaking news to anyone. So why play Joe Flacco if you're like, hey, Joe Flacco can get us 5 wins? Why not play the young guy who could, at the bottom, give us 4 wins, but maybe show us something for the future? That's the home run to me, is that Gabriel or Shedeur shows they have enough that they could possibly be a guy.
It's a very, I think you're on the right track. I think that basically Pickett, Gabriel, Sanders, you need to see enough from all 3 of them to see if any of them is the long-term answer. I think that's it. And you can laugh and say, well, how? But then I would point to you, do you think Minnesota fans were full of joy with the notion that Sam Darnold was going to be their starting quarterback? Do you think that people in Seattle thought when Geno Smith was signed that he was going to be the starting quarterback? Both those guys got $100 million deals this offseason. Look at Baker Mayfield, the guy the Browns traded, the guy who was then cut by Carolina, the guy who was not re-signed by the Rams. There is a such thing as quarterback renaissance in this league, and maybe Kenny Pickett is that. So they need to see if he's got that in him. Furthermore, of the 2 rookies, Shedeur Sanders, going into last season, really coming out of last season before the interview process, was viewed as a better prospect than 2 guys who are going to start this year in the NFL, Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. Both of them. He was viewed as a better prospect than both of them. Now, obviously, the offseason, the process, he didn't ace, and that's how he ended up in the 5th round. But if there is something to that talent, then you need to see. And I would say the same thing of Dylan Gabriel. Are you sure Dylan Gabriel can't be Bo Nix? I'm not. I'm not sure he can't. It seems like it's in play. So you've got 3 bites at the apple here to find a quarterback in the short term that could eventually turn into the long term. Do you think in your heart of hearts that any of those guys are going to let you go down to into a fist fight with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and win? No, probably not. But that's not where they are either. That's not where they are. And nobody probably thought Bo Nix could do that last year, and look what he did.
It's funny you said, are we sure Dylan Gabriel can't be Bo Nix? I think the whole thing I've said the whole time with Dylan Gabriel is why, because the comparisons, he's a little smaller and whatnot. Why can't Dylan Gabriel be Tua? Accurate guys, won in college, played some football. Yeah, and that's my thing is why can't he be that? And if that's that, if you're the Cleveland Browns, gosh, that's like gold because you haven't had anything close to that at that position. This whole conversation also, we forget because we push guys so fast now. We want instant gratification and we want these guys to be great right away. We forget that the quarterback position in the NFL is still a really developmental position. And like you see a guy like Darnold, he was young when he came into the league. He hadn't gotten a lot of snaps. Maybe what we saw from him last year is what he's going to be moving forward. It just took him time to get there. That's the one thing I like about Gabriel and Shedeur. They've played a lot of football, and the quarterbacks that have come in and had success right away are the guys that have played a lot of college football.
So, Bo, yesterday, real quick, you said you think they're keeping 4, but if I told you they're keeping 3, who do you think's the starter and who's getting cut or traded?
It's a good job out of you. I think if I were to bet right now on what this looks like I guess the way I would phrase that question, it's a tough one, is if Kenny Pickett isn't starting to start the season, that would be pretty surprising to me. And then I think Dylan Gabriel's a lock. And so I think then it comes down to what does Shedeur do with his time? And because Flacco's known. It's known, right? So I think it'll be between Flacco and Shedeur. And if it's Flacco, obviously he'll be the backup. Dylan will be the 3. Pickett will be the starter. If Pickett doesn't start, then I think it opens up a wide range of things. And I think that their job is to make sure that what Shedeur, Dylan, and Pickett is, from their perspective, is known. They have to know what they have with those 3 guys. So I guess if I think that there's an odd man out, if everybody plays their potential, I would think the odd man out would seem to be Flacco.
I agree with that. I was saying that to Baker. I think if Pickett's the starter, you got to get rid of Joe. You can't just waste draft picks up there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easier to waste a 5 than a 3. But yeah, Dylan Gabriel will be there. Like, he's not going anywhere. So I think he's the for sure. Of the 4, I would say he is the most for sure that he will be there. The rest of them, I think we'll see how it all shakes out. Some really interesting story coming out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina in regard to Belichick. This has not been a good month for the second winningest coach in NFL history. We will get to that story and take a look at the ice and the hardwood last night. Coming up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Open a money market account at Kemba Financial Credit Union and enjoy a 4.00% APY intro rate until April 2026, 6 times the national average. Maintain easy access to your funds and secure financial stability. Don't miss out. Offer expires July 31st, 2025. Visit Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Advantage status and $5,000 minimum and $1 million maximum deposit required. APY equals annual percentage yield. Comparison based on FDIC average. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasheterFord.net. Thanks.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to lifesearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit lifesearch.com today.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. This month of May is a fantastic time to win at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Win a pair of tickets to the Memorial Tournament by visiting at Hollywood Columbus on social media and follow the steps for a chance to win. You've got a chance every Tuesday for second chance drawings. You can cash in on your losing wagers. 5 winners every Tuesday get $100 pen cash. Plus, all you can eat ribs Tuesdays and Thursdays in May, only at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook inside Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
After an audit of our programming, the suits here at the Fan decided we needed more baseball. And that Common Man is stupid. Good news, we fixed one of those problems. Catch the Reds on the Fan all season long. Yay, baseball.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
After putting up with Tom Barry for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
And we encourage you to join us on Saturday, June 21st, Westerville, the inaugural 971 The Race. Register at 971therace.com. Join Common Man, Bone, Tyvus, Reese. It's June 21st for a day of activities, food, live music, and fun. The race includes a 1-mile walk run, a 5K fun run, and if you're a total psycho, a 9.71-kilometer run. We'd like to think of this as more fun, less run, but our insurance says we can't give you free beer unless there's fitness involved. So come out, do the moving, then hang with us on June 21st. We can't take credit for the timing, but June is Men's Health Month, so let's be active together. Come do it with us on Saturday, June 21 in Westerville, 971therace.com. Register for more information. Is Mike running?
No, I don't believe so. I believe he's just out there, like, handing stuff out to people that finish and maybe handing them beers or something. By the way, did you just call Reese a psycho?
I think I did, yeah, because I think he's going to do the 971 The Race thing.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's going to do that.
He's still young.
He's just a pup, just a kid. Speaking of just a kid, Bill Belichick's girlfriend. So this is from Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre with this. Apparently, he does a podcast called Pablo Torre Finds Out. And on this podcast, I don't know how it's sourced. I got this from Awful Announcing, our good buddy Ben Axelrod with the story. And in this story, Bill Belichick, according to Pablo Torre, his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, is reportedly banned from North Carolina facilities. There's apparently deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be, not just for North Carolina, but Bill's legacy. Boy, if you didn't know anything, and you had no point of reference on any of this, like go back a year from today right now, and if I were to read this statement, there is deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be, not just for North Carolina, but Bill's legacy. What in the blue hell do you think I'd be talking about? Like, think about that. You'd think Jordan, Michael, for sure. What Bill? What Bill is he undermining at North Carolina? I mean, think about what's changed in a year. How detrimental Jordan can be, not just for North Carolina, but Bill's legacy. I mean, that just reads unbelievably when you consider Michael Jordan's connection. Apparently, two sources at North Carolina told Pablo Torre that there has been a decision that was made last week by the higher-ups inside the athletic department that hired Bill Belichick to be the highest-paid public employee, not just coach in the state of North Carolina, at $10 million a year. The decision was that Jordan Hudson, she is no longer allowed in the football building. She is not allowed on the football field. Quote, "Don't think you'll be hearing much from Jordan moving forward." He also says that Belichick's family is extraordinarily concerned by what has transpired. One Belichick family source told me there's deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be, not just for North Carolina, but Bill's legacy, reputation, everything he has built and worked for over decades. In fact, the family has been digging into Jordan Hudson as well.
Man. Funny they use the word digging there in this situation. Yes. Does Bill Belichick coach a game at North Carolina?
It's a valid question.
Could this end before the season even starts?
Well, I mean, I suppose everything's in play. I think everything's in play, right? She was at his introductory press conference. I mean, he's been with her for a while now. Do you think that they just didn't read the brochure? Do you thought they were getting something else? By the way, what exactly did North Carolina think they were going to get with Bill Belichick? How exactly did they think he was going to be able to lead a modern college football program? I mean, all of his hires were NFL hires. Mike Lombardi is his Pantone. Mike Lombardi knows, what the hell would he possibly know about high school recruiting? What would he know about the business of it? Like, and it's funny, like, Jake had this story earlier in the week about how these NFL guys are coming to college because they want the money that's associated with the general manager job in college football, because it doesn't exist in the NFL level at this rate, and there's so many more of these jobs available versus 32 in the NFL at the top of the food chain. The reality, though, is the notion that some NFL executive, assistant GM, could come in and run a college football team based on how they run an NFL team right now is farcical, because there is no salary cap to maneuver. There is no draft to maneuver. You have to go recruit it. You have to recruit every single day. You have to re-recruit your own players. You have to go recruit high school players. You have to recruit the portal. That's the job. There's no salary cap. There's no draft. So to me, the idea that somebody, just because you're in the NFL, that somehow you're going to be able to run in college football is just utter nonsense. There's no parallels other than they're both football.
I'm guessing that the guys that made this decision at North Carolina, I'm guessing they're older gentlemen, and I'm guessing that they thought that name recognition was all you needed to get recruits to come there, that kids are going to want to come play for Bill Belichick because of the success that he had in the NFL, and damn everything else. I believe that's what they thought. I also wonder what Bill's reaction is to this, because Bill doesn't seem like a guy, especially at this stage in his life, that wants to be told what to do unless it's a 24-year-old woman that he's sleeping with.
I think that's probably fair.
I think Baker's over-under at one game's a little lofty, but I would maybe put it on one season, because I just think that Bill has shrunk his margin of error and for year one with all this drama.
I think you're right. I'm with you, D. I don't see a scenario. I'm just going to pull this up. Football schedule. All right, so they open. I mean, the cupboard is pretty bare by all accounts, according to everything you hear about how Mac Brown kind of left it. Remember, they've had NFL quarterbacks.
Well, and they've had an exodus in the transfer portal as well.
Yeah, we got their DN. But they've had NFL quarterbacks for a while. With Sam Howell into Drake May. They don't have those type of guys anymore.
And even Trubisky.
Yeah, you're right. Way back, with him. So just think about this they get their home to TCU at Charlotte, in Charlotte rather, than Richmond. So they could probably go 2-1 in those. Then it's UCF, Clemson, California, Virginia, Syracuse, Stanford, Wake Forest, Duke, NC State. So it's navigable. They don't play Miami. And they of the teams that are ranked the better teams in the ACC, they only play Clemson. So it is navigable, but man, what a mess. What a mess. And this is the latest in this thing that is just stinks across the board.
If they get off to...
They could lose to Charlotte.
Yeah.
They could lose to
if they get
TCU
off to like
sure.
a 1-5 start here, 2-5, like are they going to say, okay, this is enough?
No, they won't fire him in season, but I think Dylan's onto it. I think you could see him gone before that portal opens in December and try to make a pivot quickly.
I can't believe he's enjoying this right now.
Do you know that North Carolina is the answer to the one school that the SEC and the Big Ten want most?
I believe that. Well, I believe Notre Dame might be number one for the Big Ten.
I guess that's fair. That's probably fair. Yeah,
I don't know about the SEC, but
Carolina, in terms of the one that they both covet, it's Carolina is the answer to
more than Clemson. And
oh yeah,
wow.
yeah. So all right, here's the problem, Dylan. They feel like they already have that market where Clemson is because they have South Carolina and they have the South. So they don't need just the same way they view Florida State, Miami. I mean, they view Florida State that way. Miami's a little different because of the metropolitan nature. But, yeah, they feel like they're in those markets already, so there's really no need to add them. Plus, their in-state schools who are partners want no part of them getting into the SEC. Speaking of the SEC and the Big Ten, there is a new plan out for what this thing could look like in terms of the playoff. And there's some dramatic changes coming. We'll get to that coming up next. Second hour, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes who are going above and beyond in their communities. Newman Roofing wants to recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in their towns to be recognized on 10 TV and The Fan. Stay tuned as we begin announcing the selected honorees who truly embody the spirit of Newman Roofing's commitment to community.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom Tire buyer.
Exactly.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
So we bought an actual shopping mall and put one of the largest Honda dealerships in the world inside of it. Hi, it's Steve Lindsay with Lindsay Honda. So it's big. We house about 150 to 200 cars indoors, lit, all unlocked, ready for you to be able to view and see. A fully tempered climate. Doesn't matter if it's raining outside, 10 below zero, super hot. There's real trees inside, and it's just a casual environment. And if you haven't seen it, it's really a cool story, not about its opulence. It's just a cool story to see what was a dilapidated old mall being reinvigorated into a pillar in the community that everybody benefits from.
This month at Lindsay Honda, choose a 2025 Honda Ridgeline RTL, Honda HR-V or CR-V, and pay just $299 a month at our famous Lindsay Honda Trade-A-Thon. We'll trade for anything and give you $1,000 more for your vehicle all month long. Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. TNCs apply. Available in app only.
This summer, something wild is coming to your Columbus Zoo. The all-new North America Trek opens soon. Get closer than ever to Mexican wolves, river otters, and more in stunning new habitats. Experience wildlife and conservation in action. Plan your visit today at columbuszoo.org.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
If my buttery smooth voice represents the photos in your social media feed,
then this is closer to what real life is like. Social media can be fun, but remember, it's only showing you
the filtered version of life. So when social media is stressing you out, check in on yourself and remember, it's not the whole story. For more tips on reducing your stress, go to mha.ohio.gov/check-in. A message from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Are you ready for the NFL season? The schedule release is coming, and we know the best place to get your tickets this year. My friends at Vivid Seats. They're seriously legit, and you earn rewards on every purchase. That's basically free football games. When that schedule hits, don't wait around. For the best selection and all the great deals, head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in your game days now.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Baker. The Minnesota Timberwolves evened up their Western Conference semifinal series with the Golden State Warriors at one game apiece. They knocked off the Warriors 117-93 last night. Big game from Julius Randle, 24 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds. The Warriors played that game without Steph Curry, who is out with a hamstring strain. The Cleveland Cavaliers playing game 3 of their series with the Pacers tonight over in Indianapolis, 7:30 tip for that one. Stanley Cup playoffs last night. The Washington Capitals beat the Carolina Hurricanes 3-1. That evens up their series at one game apiece. The Edmonton Oilers took a 2-0 lead in their series with the Vegas Knights. They won 5-4 in overtime. Leon Draisaitl with that game winner. This one's sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Enjoy rates lower than the national average, plus a special rate on balance transfers with a Visa Platinum or Visa with Rewards credit card.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
Got a great tweet from, remember we just read that headline about Jordan and Bill and undermining North Carolina, all of those things. Hunter, loyal listener. You would have me convinced that MJ was undermining Bill Self, who North Carolina would have hired as their basketball coach after firing Hubert Davis.
Didn't they have a...
The read on that is wild.
Didn't North Carolina somewhere in their run of coaches have a Bill Cunningham that coached them in basketball?
Let's see. Billy. All right. No, I haven't thought about this for a long time. All right, so it went Dean Smith, Bill Guthridge, Matt Doherty. Then Roy Williams, and then Hubert, right?
Bill Guthridge must be who I was thinking of. Okay.
Bill Guthridge was the longtime assistant for Dean. They tried getting Roy from Kansas at that point.
And he wouldn't leave.
And he
didn't want to follow Dean, right? It was respect to...
I think it was respect, and I think it was also like, he was building it. I mean, like, it's Kansas. Like those are two of the bluest of bloods. And at the time that Dean retired, do you have the year Dean retired?
It is 1997 is when he retired.
Okay, so he would have been leaving really what was probably for him Apex, Kansas. Because that's Paul Pierce, Rafe LaFrentz, Jock Vaughn. That's all of that. And then what he has coming down the pipe was Nick Collison, Kirk Heinrich, Drew Gooden, those teams followed. So he had Kansas absolutely humming. And then he left. He never won a national title at Kansas, but he left Kansas after they lost in the national championship game to Syracuse. They lost to Jerry McNamara and a guy named Carmelo Anthony in the final. I believe that's how it went. And then he left after that. Timmy would know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
My best friend that lives out in Kansas City, so his wife grew up in Lawrence, Kansas, went to KU and all of that, and she is really good friends with Roy Williams' daughter. She was actually in their wedding, and it's so funny to hear her, how she talks about Roy. She calls him Roy, and it's just so casual. It's hilarious. Like, this is one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time, and you're just talking about him like he's no big deal.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of pulled it out of the depths at Kansas because they were in a lot of trouble at that time. So that's a little bit part of it. One of the things, and we talked about this off the top of the show in terms of this need right now for leadership in the sport. And one of the reasons that we talked about this, a couple of things we mentioned was that the Egg Bowl, Mississippi State, like that's going to be a noon game this year. That was always a night game, but it's going to be a noon game on Black Friday. They're going to play Texas, and Texas A&M is going to be played Black Friday, 7:30 at night. So there will be those type of things that are going to start to happen. And I to me, it feels like there is time right now to kind of get all of this stuff sorted out. The other thing that leaked out yesterday, was this notion of what is coming in terms of a 16-team playoff. A lot of reporting on this in the last couple of days, and the reporting is starting to look like the SEC and the Big Ten really would like a 16-team playoff. And what they want out of that is 4 automatic bids for the SEC and the Big Ten, 2 bids from the other conferences, and then at-large bids is the way that they want this thing to kind of break down. From the other part of this that I think is really fascinating is what the SEC and the Big Ten are kind of leaning towards now is this notion that on the conference championship weekend, this is the part I'm not sure about, Bake. Is it in lieu of the conference championship games, or is it in addition to the conference championship games? You would essentially be playing college football play-in games. So if you played a championship game, those 2 teams would make the playoff. Then they would have the 3 play the 6 and the 4 play the 5 in their conference standings, and those would be play-in games for the 4 automatic bids for the SEC and the Big Ten. So instead of on conference championship Saturday, there just being a Big Ten championship game, there would be 3 Big Ten games on that Saturday. And in addition to that, I suppose the losers of the 3-6 game and the 4-5 game could get in as at large, because here's the reality of it. They want as many opportunities as they can to get bites at the apple, and they're not satisfied with just 4, so it's going to be 4 automatics, and then potentially upwards 5 or 6 Big Ten and SEC teams getting in. There is a greed to this that is impossible to ignore.
They're just creating tournaments to get in the tournaments.
Yeah,
I'm creating television shows.
I mapped it out for the listeners so they could visualize. If this would have happened in the Big Ten last year, it would have been Oregon and Penn State in the Big Ten championship game, obviously.
Hold on now, D. Talk slowly. I'm going to write this down.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Indiana would be the 3 seed since Ohio State lost to Michigan the last week. So it would be Indiana versus Iowa, the 6 seed. And then the other game would be a 4 seed Ohio State versus a 5 seed Illinois. And the winners of all those games would get into the playoff. And then obviously both Oregon and Penn State would get in. So you have Oregon and Penn State essentially just playing for a Big Ten championship game. They're both going to get in. Winner of Indiana and Iowa, winner of Ohio State and Illinois. So essentially Iowa would have still been alive in a college football playoff picture in December of last year.
And what was Iowa's record at the time? Do you have that in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me right now.
Let me see. They were 8-5.
There you go.
And that
They were
gets to
8-5.
play
They
in
were
a college
6-3.
football playoff, possibly. Like, that's infuriating
And
to me.
Is it
8-5.
far-fetched to think that Iowa could have beat Indiana on any given
No.
Saturday last year?
No, it's not.
What are we doing?
No. So the SEC version of that, since you did that so beautifully, so the SEC would have had Texas versus Georgia. That would have been your SEC title game. The 3 would have been Tennessee. So Tennessee would have played South Carolina, and then Alabama would have played LSU.
And the ratings for Alabama LSU would have been off the charts.
On a play and win and you're in scenario, 2 teams who played probably 3 weeks previous, running it back. What you just said is the reason they're doing all of this. That's why they're doing it. They're trying to create more revenue. That's why the SEC is going to try to go to 9 conference games. It's not because they think it's good to play another one of these highly leveraged games. It's because they want more money. Their answer to everything, guys, is find more money. It's not to reform the sport. It's not to give any of the money back. It's to find more money from their television partners. And the ESPN is going to be willing to pay the SEC to go to 9 conference games. There's value in that for sure. But that's what this is. This is so that when you turn on ESPN on Conference Championship Saturday, you turn on, for us, it would be spread, I guess, over all 3 of the partners. So it would probably be, well, they play the Big Ten title game at night, even though it's their window's big noon. So the title game would be at 8. The 3:30, I'm guessing, would be on CBS.
And maybe give Peacock one.
Maybe Peacock gets
Throw
the
them
noon
a bone.
game. Yeah, maybe Peacock gets the noon game, and then the SEC on ESPN will counter with noon, 3:30, and 8, leading into their championship game. But of course, it won't be like if you lose one of these games, you're automatically out. Won't be that at all. Like what they'll say, what Sankey will say is he'll say, "Well, hold on a second. Tennessee got upset by South Carolina. Tennessee's 10-4. They deserve one of those at-large bids." That's what they're going to say.
Bo, I literally last year, I don't even know if I wrapped my head around it.
Yeah.
But the whole thought of a 3-loss team possibly playing for a national championship was like that was just no way does that team deserve to be in there, all of that. Now we're saying that possibly a 5, maybe a 6-loss team is going to have a shot to get in there. Like I feel like there's steam coming out of my ears right now.
Well, this goes back to, guys, what I'm saying in the first hour of the show, where there needs to be real leadership here. We can't lose what makes the sport so special. We've neglected it for a long time, and we've ignored what people want for a long time. But to absolutely to not pay some attention to what makes the sport great, I think would be a big mistake. So we'll see where all of this goes, but money will drive all of it. That's for sure. Go ahead, Vic.
Maybe we can get into this in the next segment, but what is going to be the point? What's going to be the cap on games for these college kids? Because Ohio State played 16 last year. What's going to be the cap on all of this where we're like, okay, this is too much?
Buddy, we played 16. We didn't play for the Big Ten title. If we played for the Big Ten title, it would have been 17.
Well, if they'd have played for the Big Ten title, chances are they would have had a bye.
Oh, that's
and it
fair.
would have
Well,
been
if you
different.
lost-
But if you lost, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Maybe not.
If Penn State would have played for a national title, they would have played 17 games last year.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and more to come. Yeah, follow the money. It's where it always goes. It's a lesson from The Wire. We'll continue this and what college football is really trying to do without saying its part out loud. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in nearly 90% of cases. Listen to what Alex has to say about our ED treatments.
I have been experiencing problems with ED, but that's all changed. My name's Alex, and I've been a patient for Tri-State Men's Health for under a year. I highly recommend this. Every day I wake up feeling good compared to I was back in the old days. Good change is more exciting. You know, I don't have a problem with ED anymore. I'm having a lot more fun. I was very comfortable. I was always comfortable in any conversation I had with Tri-State Men's Health. Yeah, I just want to let gentlemen out there know that you do not have to live with ED, that it is not just an aging process. It is also hormonal and balance and everything in your system. And once you get that under control and everything, everything, you do go back to your youth a lot in how you feel.
Thanks, Alex. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic or our new Cheddar Blast flavor made with real cheddar cheese. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
The Fan has been ranked as the 2nd best sports station in America by our industry peers. Our heartfelt thank you is in order. But we're not doing it because we're better than that hillbilly Birmingham station that came in first. Thanks for nothing.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Most Ohioans believe every student, regardless of zip code, income, or background, deserves a great public education. And it's Ohio's dedicated public school educators who make that possible. This Teacher Appreciation Week, join the Ohio Education Association in saying thank you. Tell us about a teacher making a big impact and they could win a vacation package from NEA member benefits or other great prizes, including pizza for their students. Go to ohea.org to nominate a teacher, because public education matters.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Into Central Ohio, plenty of sunshine moving back in today, but so are some cooler temperatures. Highs this afternoon that only reach the 60s. Sunshine continues into early Saturday with 30s and 40s kicking off Saturday morning. 70s by the afternoon. Upper 70s and more sunshine for your Mother's Day. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And as always, we are proud to be sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Mother's Day is in 2 days. If you haven't got anything yet, go see them. They'll take care of you. It's 2 days, fellas. Sunday. I got a big problem. We were supposed to go out of town for an overnight lacrosse tournament and missed the registration. So a really bad job out of us, those in charge of that. And so we found out about this yesterday, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, we're not going out of town, so now we need to come up with Mother's Day plans. You ever try booking a Mother's Day brunch with 72 hours notice? Good luck.
Probably not very easy to do.
I even pivoted. I'm like, can I do a Saturday night? Maybe we'll take her to dinner. Nope. Good luck with that. I'm like, so she knows. I mean, like she's well aware of what it was supposed to be versus now what it is going to be. But yeah, not great on a lot of levels on that side of things.
Listen, Bo, you only fail if you quit.
You're not wrong. I'm going to keep trying. Going to keep grinding, trying. All right. So this 16-team playoff that the SEC and the Big Ten, Ross Dellinger had the report. There was growing support from the Big Ten and the SEC. In other words, it's going to happen. So this is what it would look like. You would have 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten, 2 ACC, 2 Big 12, 1 group of 6, and then 3 at large with season-ending interleague play-in games 3, 6, 4, 5, which we talked about in the Big Ten and SEC. So it's 3 more television shows for them on championship weekend, which would be the win. So if you were to play this out last year, and by the way, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I don't like buys. I don't think there should be any buy. I think everybody should play the same games. So my view of it, I would get rid of conference championship games entirely. I don't think we need them. They're television. I would just start this thing quicker, start it instead of them, and go from there, because I just think they're arbitrary at this point, and they're trying to create more television shows. I get it, but I don't think you need them. So I would just get rid of it, but they're not going to because there's money in it. So let's just ignore and just kind of map this out, what this would have looked like last year. So you would have in a traditional, you'd have 1 versus 16. Obviously, you'd have 2, 15, 3 versus 14. The 4-5 is up there. I mean, it's a massive thing. So Oregon would have been the 1. So it would have been the Big Ten teams would have been Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana, Illinois would have been the 4 autos. Yeah. Illinois was 20th. Illinois would have been the 4 Big Ten teams. I think I have that right. I didn't miss anybody. No,
it would be Oregon, Penn State, Indiana, Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Good job, D. I missed. I counted 5. So it would have been those 4 would have been the 4 from the Big Ten. So the 4, one of you guys write this down. So those are your 4 Big Tens. So the SEC then would have been Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Alabama would have been the 4 automatics from the SEC. So there's 8. All right. So we need 2 Big 12s. That would have been Arizona State, BYU. Yeah.
Is that who played in the Big 12 championship? Because I thought BYU missed it for some reason.
They did. I'm just thinking going off of the final college football playoff rankings after championship weekend. Yeah, Iowa State was probably Iowa State.
Iowa State.
If you go to the final college football playoff rankings, it would have been BYU and it would have been Arizona State. So the ACC then would have been SMU, Miami. Yeah, because Clemson won the SEC, but they weren't. If you don't play the conference championship games, they're not in the mix. So it would have been Miami and SMU from the ACC. The group of 6 would have been Boise State, so that remains the same. And then your at-larges would have been Notre Dame. If you go off the rankings, it would have been Notre Dame, Ole Miss, and South Carolina.
It's a lot of SEC schools.
And are we just plugging them in, right, like where they are in these rankings?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what they would do. They would just seed them 1 through 16.
But the thing is, what you get, I don't like a lot about this, but what I do like a lot about this is you're going to get like a March Madness type feel with these play-ins. And then when they go to Selection Sunday to do those 3, you're still going to get all the arguing of who the last 3 teams should be to get in. Like, I feel like this is solving nothing.
No, and it's also letting a bunch of teams in that don't belong. Like you're talking. Some of these guys are 8-5. I mean, some of this is just nonsense. Go ahead, Vic.
I was going to say we still argue about the in the NCAA tournament the 69th team and the 70th team. You know, like what?
Yeah.
We're going to argue no matter what because that's what we do.
Yeah. So if it plays out that way and that's what they go to, let's also acknowledge this. Well, I think this is absurd to add all of this, and I think it's obviously run by greed, and I think it's just crazy to put all of these like play-in games on Championship Saturday, I'm going to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to watch because it's going to be high leverage.